This movie is so deeply disturbing that it actually gave rise to a real psychological syndrome, known as the Truman Show delusion.
From the largest studio ever constructed, it's the Truman Show! Yeah!
This condition leads people to believe that their entire life is a TV show, being recorded 24/7. This bizarre phenomenon has sparked everything from lawsuits against TV networks to tragic cases of people committing violent acts against family members. The creators of this film could never have imagined that their work would literally drive some viewers to madness. Through its portrayal of the mundane and, more specifically, the routine, The Truman Show crafts one of the most penetrating audiovisual experiences ever, one that embeds itself into popular culture and transcends the boundaries of fiction. The film's subtext and themes are arguably even more significant than the plot itself, challenging us to question the very nature of reality. In this video, we'll dive into why this movie is so remarkable. It's interesting to note that Jim Carrey's performance in The Truman Show marked a turning point in his career, transforming him from a comedic icon into a respected, serious actor. Known primarily for his over-the-top slapstick humor in films like Ace Ventura and The Mask, Carrey's portrayal of Truman Burbank, the main character in Truman Show, revealed a depth and vulnerability that stunned audiences and critics alike. The film's blend of drama, satire, and philosophical themes allowed Carrey to showcase his range, proving that he could deliver a powerful, emotionally nuanced performance. The Truman Show not only redefined Carrey's career, but also became a cultural phenomenon. The premise of this film is simple, yet chilling. An ordinary man named Truman Burbank is unknowingly the star of a television show about his own life. However, he's the only one unaware of it. From the moment of his birth, his entire existence has been filmed and broadcasted 24 hours a day. You could say the movie has a kind of pre-established plot twist. In the film, Truman Burbank, a seemingly happy and ordinary insurance salesman, lives in a bubble of comfort that he's completely unaware of. Little by little, he begins to discover that his life has always been part of a television program from the very start. It's crucial for the movie to show us how Truman's story unfolds. On one hand, we see that Truman leads a monotonous, simple life. The filmmakers intentionally present him as charismatic, both to the audience within the film and to us, the viewers. The other characters, like his wife, best friend, and supporting actors, are all in on the act, carefully coordinating to keep Truman from realizing the truth. On the other hand, the town where Truman lives is actually a massive television set he's never left. But one day, Truman begins to suspect something is off and starts testing his reality, slowly uncovering the huge lie he's been living his entire life. The film brilliantly develops Truman's psyche throughout, showing us a character grappling with inner conflicts. Despite his personality being carefully crafted by forces beyond his control, Truman senses that something is missing, though he can't quite put his finger on it. He feels trapped in a world he gradually begins to realize is completely fake. Everything starts falling apart. He grows to despise his wife, who stays with him only for the fame, even considering having children despite secretly loathing him. Truman's daily routine begins to suffocate him, and when he finally discovers that his entire existence has been a lie, when they forbid him from leaving his town, and most painfully, when he realizes he was never allowed to find his first love, he reaches a breaking point and does everything in his power to escape. As viewers, we both understand and don't fully grasp what's happening in Truman's mind. We know how he might feel, but we can't truly experience his emotions. Not everyone in the world knows what it truly means to feel alone. Most of us believe we know who we are. The Truman Show delves into the search for identity, but even more so, the pursuit of truth. This movie undoubtedly has a strong philosophical component that leaves many deep in thought. For some, it's a piece of cinema ripe for deep analysis and reflection. For others, it's the source of intrusive thoughts that could lead them into a severe crisis. The film is filled with allegories to religion, creation, and the omnipresence of a being that is always watching us, an uncertainty for us, but a tangible reality for Truman and the viewers. The narrative compels us to root for Truman as he uncovers the truth. We worry, we empathize, we get excited, we even cry at the end, just like the viewers within the movie. Truman's journey is not just about feeling incomplete. He feels like a prisoner. From a philosophical standpoint, we can draw parallels with Plato's allegory of the cave, where the prisoner is Truman, unaware of any other world beyond the one he's living in. The stage is his life. Christoph is introduced as the antagonist, but unlike the typical villain, he's more than just a malevolent figure opposing the hero's desires. In the movie, Christoph is portrayed as a benevolent being who cares for someone over whom he holds power. In the end, we see that, despite his own interests, he cares for Truman as if he were his own son. Christoph even creates a paradise for him, at least in his mind. But just like Truman, we can't fully judge him. He gave a good life to someone who is destined not to have it. Liking the video so far? Don't forget to subscribe to Frame Frolic for more deep dives into iconic films, series, and their production as well. If the film were told from Christoph's perspective, we might see Truman as ungrateful and dissatisfied with a life he simply doesn't appreciate. But coming back to the characters, Christoph's antagonistic figure reveals that he has turned this paradise into a gilded cage for himself. He has stolen the most valuable thing a human being can have, a life where they can make their own decisions. That's why Truman, as the protagonist, isn't the villain or ungrateful. He's just a child. In fact, his appearance shows this clearly. It's no coincidence that Jim Carrey was cast in this role. Truman's character embodies the image of a grown child, with his bright, vibrant clothing and surroundings, much like how children are often depicted. Truman hasn't been able to mature during all the years the show has been on the air. He can't mature because he can't make his own choices. The soundtrack plays a crucial role in highlighting the emotions of the protagonists. Doubt, suspicion, hope, fear, and liberation are all captured through the music, which is split across the film's 3 acts. The first act features calm classical music, idyllic and perfectly reflective of the world presented to us. The second act becomes frantic as Truman begins suspecting the truth around him. Finally, the music shifts to harmonious and joyous tones as Truman reaches a moment of self-realization. This last shift is particularly significant, emphasizing Christoph's control over Truman's world. Specifically, in the scene where Truman is reunited with his father, there's an incredible sequence that evokes deceptive emotions in us as viewers. We know it's all a lie, a human being playing God, and yet we're drawn in. The movie's meaning is fully realized by the end. Truman stops being a child when he finally makes his own decisions and refuses to let that omnipresent force dictate his life. Even his clothing reflects this transformation. After all the hardships, he sheds that childlike image and ascends. Truman accepts, with joy, that his life was a lie and that everything was controlled. But now he has the freedom to choose. And even when he speaks with Christoph during that climactic monologue, where Truman brought happiness to millions, he understands that the world doesn't revolve around him, rather, he revolves around the world. He crosses through that dark door, symbolizing pure uncertainty. Despite his fear of what lies ahead, he chooses to step into the unknown. The Truman Show plays heavily with the concept of omnipresence, but above all, it explores paranoia. It's no coincidence that a syndrome is named after this film. The Truman Show offers a different perspective on how we view the world. We believe everything revolves around us, that we're being watched for every action we take, and that, like Truman, we have no choice. This idea resonates even more in today's world. Just like the film's audience is unaware that we're watching them, you don't know who might be watching you, just like in The Truman Show. The so-called Truman Show syndrome is a delusional disorder involving persecution and grandiosity, where sufferers believe they're constantly being watched and are the star of a television show. Just like Jim Carrey's character. The patient may also believe their life is a theatrical performance, or that, in some way, the entire world revolves around them. They think others know what they say, think, and do, and they might even believe they're being filmed 24/7. This disorder was identified a few years after the release of the famous movie by brothers Joel and Ian Gold. Even though it's not officially recognized in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, there have been over 40 documented cases worldwide. Do you think another movie will ever have a similar impact? Hey there! Thanks for watching. If you loved exploring the stories behind iconic movies with us, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. We appreciate your support and can't wait to share more fascinating movie tales with you.